Hi everybody, it's Rexanna with Garden of Herbs, and today I thought I would just shoot a video and share a little bit of tea time with you. Um, I actually love to drink tea, and right now I'm going to pour me a cup of tea, and I'm going to talk to you about the simplicity of tea and making tea and clear up some mystery about tea. And I'm reading a very cute little book. Um, basically, there's a lot of wonder, mysterious things. I know a lot of questions people have about tea. It's really very simple. Tea drinking and making tea, it can be quite simple. But I don't know why we try to make it really hard, because it's not. I'm gonna put my finger in a spot, and I'm just gonna show you what I like, how I like to make my tea. I have my favorite cup. It's my Nana cup. I have like what's called a, it's a stainless steel. And the reason I'm pushing this plunger down is because I'm pushing my herbs down. This is a tea press, or you could use it for coffee. But my tea has been making, it's been steeping rather, for probably about 30 minutes. And my tea is nice. It's not just a regular tea. It's kind of turned into a, okay, now that's gotten heavy. You can sweeten your tea, or you can just leave your tea like that. A lot of people don't put anything in their tea. I prefer to put a little sweetener. It's better for you to use something natural like honey or stevia. Ooh, it's still kind of hot because this is a double wall. This right here is double walled, and it's stainless steel. To the touch like that, it's still pretty hot. I mean, it's not going to burn me, but it's inside that that's very hot. I use a tea kettle to boil my water, and then I'll show you here. I pull this up all the way, and inside there I've got about 4 to 5 teaspoons, about 5 teaspoons I think, of herbs. And the herbs, now that's pretty hot right there. That's really hot. And that will steep for as long as I want it to. I leave my herbs in here so that it can really get very strong. I like a very strong tea. And then this is how I like to drink it. I don't want my herbs in my cup. If a few pass through there, it's not going to bother me. But I know people that just throw it all in there. I don't like that. I mean, it's not going to bother me if a few pass through. I'm a hot tea drinker. It feels really good on my throat. If you're new to this channel, Garden of Herbs, TX, you may hear me from time to time. My throat, I don't know why. I'm not a singer, although I love to sing. My throat, I've always had a lot of problems with drainage. I have allergies, and I've had all kinds of problems with my sinus issues. I've had, in the past, I've had a lot of asthma and allergies. And when you have drainage and you've had problems with your throat, your voice, it just messes with your voice and your throat. So when you cough and you have problems with your asthma and allergies, and you lay down and everything drains, you quite naturally, it messes with your throat. So when you have something that's very soothing to the throat, like a hot tea, is very helpful. It's very beneficial. And so when something feels good, you'll like it. And so that's one really good thing I could say, that tea, for me, and when you find that you like it and you see somebody else that's having the same problem, you might want to go make them a cup of tea. And you might say, I know how you feel. Let me help you out. Sometimes when it's too hot, believe it or not, depending on what you're making them, it's inflamed back here. It actually, if it cools off just a little bit, that's why I let my herbs steep for a very long time. And then when you get something like honey, which is anti-inflammatory, and you work with anti-inflammatory herbs, it's quite soothing, and you're just like, oh, I don't ever want to quit drinking this tea. So just to start, as a young child, and I'm sure many of you that are young like me, or you grew up in families like me, y'all are just tea drinkers, and whether it's cold or whether it's hot. A lot of people, I grew up in, to drink a Coke was like a real big thing. I mean, we had the machines. We didn't have the 3 liters. We didn't have the 2 liters. We didn't have the 1 liter. We had a bottle, a glass bottle. And we got money, and it was called a treat. And you got to get a Coke or a soda. It was called a soda. And it wasn't always just a Coke. We got Dr. Pepper. We got Fresca. There was different types back then. And it was in a machine. And it was fairly inexpensive. And it was usually on the weekend when you went to stay with your grandparents or something like that. That's how we did it. But we were normally at supper time, we were tea drinkers. And Mother always made a big pitcher of tea. And we sweetened our tea. We from Texas, we sweeten our tea. And I remember growing up, back in the 70s, the big thing was to do sun tea. And I remember, boy, we was thinking we was all natural. Well, we had our tea in the sun. And then Mother realized that it was better to just not do all that. We used to put a whole cup of sugar in it for a gallon. And Mother said, we're cutting our sugar in half. We're not doing a whole cup of sugar. And so we did a half a cup of sugar. So we thought we was really doing good. And of course, we used to do lemon and sugar, and it didn't taste so sweet, and we liked it. We loved it. And I used to think I never could, and even to this day, if I'm out, I think, well, I have to have lemon in my sugar. Well, I mean, I have to have lemon in my tea. So quite naturally, I will do half lemon and half tea and just a little bit of sweetener. I grew up that way. I don't think you can drink tea any other way. But as we grew up, more and more of the adults started trying to drink tea without any sugar at all, because quite naturally, they didn't want to be diabetic, and they wanted to take better care of their health. So Mother got to where she didn't put anything in her tea, but just straight tea. And she had to have one kind of tea and only one kind of tea, because that tea didn't have any bitterness in it. So as Mother aged and Mother got older, she said, I'm going to put just 1 little teaspoon of tea because it's getting bitter. I think that company has gone and done something to their tea. But I guess it's just mother got older. I don't know. But a lot of people, I think their taste buds change or whatever when we get older. We all change. But mother used to just slip and put a little bit of sugar in there, which there wasn't nothing wrong with just a little bit of sugar. And but mother always, from time to time, would put some lemon in her tea. And you know, tea is very beneficial. Tea is a great diuretic. There's tea that has caffeine. There's tea that's herbal tea. There's the green tea. I don't know why people try to take the caffeine out of green tea, but they do. And I like chai tea that has the green tea in it, and then they spice it up. I love that tea. I love that tea. I love chai tea. But I'm reading this book, and what I'm trying to get across to people is how to make tea. And if you make green tea, if you make you can make your own tea. Bulk tea is the best tea. I've made a video in the past and said if you are in a pinch, if you've got to run to the grocery store and you've got to get those little packaged teas, those are not the best teas to do. But for God's sake, if that's all you can do, and I would not highly recommend that, but if that's all you have, if you don't have anything else and that's all you can do, then by God, go get that. And I say that because I have bulk herbs here. But I had just got through taking care of a man, and he did not have time to wait. He had to go to a big box store and he had to get him some tea. He was sick, and he was sick today. And I do not judge anyone, and I do not tell anyone, you know, you have to wait for your herbs to come from the big box or the place. You have to. If you have a choice to go get from like the big box store, which is right down the street, go there. Is it the best? No. Would I make a habit of it? No. If you can start buying some from Star West Botanicals or growing your own, I would definitely go to someplace else and get you some cold and flu herbs in case you get sick with cold and flu. But if you had no other choice, and if you're just starting out, yes, go to where you can, or if you could buy some off an herbalist, or if you could do something like that, I would do something. But if that's your only choice, yes, I would definitely go, because I didn't want him to feel bad. So I said all that to clear up my video, because what do you do when you get sick? What do you do when you get sick and you have nothing, or you're just starting out? I would rather people go and get what you can and have something on hand than have nothing at all. And sometimes you're kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I'm saying that, and I'm clearing the air there, because I thought about pulling that video, and then I thought, no, I don't want to pull that video, because I've been there, I've done that. And I know people say those tea bags, the tea bag itself, not the herb. Well, the herb may not be fresh, but at least they may help you to some extent. And the tea bags may be bleached or whatever and have some chemical on them. But you know what? If I just got through seeing this person, he had to work really hard for a whole week, and I advised him and I coached him through, and it took him probably 9 days to get better. And he worked very hard. He's an elderly gentleman, and he worked very hard. And I did everything that I could to help him. And he bought everything that he could through the store, and then I gave him some other stuff that I had for my kitchen. But you know what? Sometimes you have to work really, really hard, and sometimes with very little, very little. And but if you're determined, and if you do everything that you can and follow someone's recommendations, it works. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen overnight. And this gentleman, bless his heart, he did really good. I was so proud of him for not giving up. And sometimes that's the key, is not to give up. So anyway, I'm not trying to get on a rampage here, or I'm not trying to, but sometimes the best thing to do is to start and this is about how to do your herbs. And he had nothing. He had nothing, and he did everything by drinking teas. So this is kind of a perfect opportunity for me to tell you. You know, he had a strainer, and he ate a lot of herbs while he was drinking his tea. But I'm going to just kind of show you an example. I've got a cup here, and sometimes to get started in drinking tea, it could be a little messy and it can be a little frustrating. But once you get it down, everybody, I don't want to say there's just one set way to do it, because there's really not. When I very first got started, I bought me a tea ball. I bought me one of these little tea balls that I really love. And I actually have several of these, because for a long time, this was my favorite way. It's got like a little strainer here, and you can put your herbs in here, and you can close it up, and you can drop it inside your cup like that, and you fill your water up, and you're good to go. And this will not come undone. This stays, and some of them have a little chain, like this one does. This one has a little chain on it. I don't know what happened to my chain, but this one right here is a little different one. It has little holes in it, if you can see like that. I think this one goes with that one. Yes. And this one, you can drop it in there, and then you have a little hanger thing, and that goes like that. And this one is just as good. I mean, I loved this one for a long time, and I still occasionally use this one because it still has the chain on it. I have the chains to these in the drawer over there. This one was mine because you could put a lot of herbs, and you could pour the water over several times on this one. I used to use this one because it has a lid on it. All you have to do is pour your water about halfway through here, and then you can pour your water the rest of the way over that. You can also put your lid over that. You want to make sure, I have a cup that I used to use this. I just couldn't find my cup. But I keep all these in my little drawer over there. So these are some ways that you can put in a cup like this. I always use like a little saucer that you can put over your cup, just like that. I don't know if you can see me, like that. And if you don't have one of these to steep your herbs, you can just put the ball in there and steep your herbs like that for like about 10 minutes with the ball down in your deal, and then you're good. I mean, this is a very, this is what my grandma used to drink her tea out of. She used to put the tea bag in here, and then she used to just do like that. And she used to saucer her tea. Saucering your tea is doing it like this, and then drinking it out of the saucer. I saw her do that so much when I was growing up, because your tea was too hot. Your tea was too hot. She saucered she saucered her coffee, she saucered her tea, everything. And then your tea, when it got cool, then she would drink it out of her cup. But running out of time, my video is getting kind of long. I've got a tea combination here. I call it my happy tea. And you can blend your own tea. I blend my own tea. If anybody sees my cabinet while I'm making a video, I've usually got, my cabinets are not spick and span. I wish they were, but they're not. I've usually got herbs, and I've usually got tinctures, and I've usually got a whole bunch of stuff. I'm trying to clean my stuff off. I'll get my kitchen done probably next year. But for right now, I've got a bunch of stuff that I'm still organizing because I just moved into my house. But this right here is holy basil, chamomile, and peppermint, ashwagandha, and I think that's it. But these four are really, that's something that you can drink almost every day. I do take a break. Sometimes I don't drink it every day. But for the most part, ashwagandha is really good for your immune system. It's really good to help you on an everyday basis. It's going to help you to sleep at night. Ashwagandha is one of those herbs that they did a study on to find out the last couple of years. I believe it's from India. And if you're watching this video and you correct me, that's fine. But I was looking it up in this book, and it wasn't there. And I didn't bother to look it up because ashwagandha is just one of those herbs that I started taking the last couple of years, and it helps me to rest. It's for your overall body, your whole body system. And it doesn't make you sleepy, but it helps you to relax at night, and it helps your whole, your central nervous system and the parts of your brain to really rest and relax at night. And the reason that I called it my happy tea, I made a tincture for my husband and for somebody else, because this is something that I've been drinking for the last couple of years, because I really got depressed, and my whole like watching the news and just everything. I needed something to help me, and I love chamomile. I love the way that chamomile tastes, and chamomile is just a comforter to me. And I could just sit and drink chamomile all by itself because it helps me to relax. It helps me stay focused. There is a lot of people that drink chamomile all over. Like, I got introduced when I was going to college with chamomile. I had test anxiety, and I did not know really what they were doing with chamomile. They were using chamomile as an experiment on college students to see if it would help them relax, and it sure worked on me. I love chamomile. But it helps with pain. It also helps, it's an herb that the flowers, you take the flowers off, the fresh flowers, and to smell it, and just, it's a nutritive, plus it's also, what am I trying to think of? It's I'm trying to think. Well, I'll think of it here in a minute. It's a adaptogen. It's an adaptogen. And anytime you have an adaptogen, you really, you can take adaptogens all the time, and they're good for you. And so, Americans are, they do in England, they do this tea a lot, and it helps them. But in America, we're doing it more and more. And so anyway, let me see what she says in here about this. Yeah, it helps with your aches, gives you a mellow feeling, and a lull for you to sleep. Although it helps me to kind of wind down, but it also, I can also work. I could drink 4 or 5 cups in a day, and it won't make me go to sleep, but it will help me to relax. Helps me with, like, when I feel really tense in my shoulders. But yeah, it helps with bladder irritation, burns, nausea, vomiting. It's a skin softener, like when you put it with your balms and stuff like that. So anyhow, we'll move on to holy basil. Holy basil is not in this book, and I could not believe holy basil was not in this book. But she did have St. John's wort. But holy basil is like and now I do know that holy basil is from India. India, which they also call it Tulsi. Tulsi is like an antidepressant. It's just like taking an antidepressant. And that's why I wanted to drink this and make this my happy tea. Because to me, I love the way it makes you feel. I mean, first and foremost, let's just be honest. I love the way when you drink this, how it makes you feel. I like the taste of it. And a lot of people, if you're going to make them a cup of tea, make it to where it tastes good. If you're going to make you some tea, like a lot of people, they don't want you to make them a cup of tea. So let's drink a cup of tea. Okay? And if you make them a cup of tea and it's really, like, tastes like medicine, they don't want you to make them another cup of tea. Or if you see they're not really drinking that tea, it's probably because it don't taste good. So you want to think about the different flavors, the different benefits, and, how often are you going to be able to drink this tea? And, some tea, yes, we do have to drink because it's good medicine. And so you have to do whatever you have to do to get that kind of tea down you because you're sick. And it's just going to be a good time to drink it because you're doing it and you have to do it that way. It's not for pleasure, but this time we're doing this type of tea. We're doing it for pleasure, and plus it may have some kind of benefits. But we're mostly doing this type of tea, like happy tea, because it's got a few benefits, yes, but it's a pleasurable tea. It's a happy tea. It's a good tea. And some things we do for preventative measures, that would fall into this category. It's a preventative, and I'm drinking it to relax. I'm just sitting here talking to you. You're in my kitchen, and we're talking about drinking tea. And what are the benefits? It's easy to do. It's something that's quick. It's easy. It's not like making a tincture. This literally took me from top to bottom 30 minutes to make. And I could have done it a lot quicker, but I wanted to let my tea steep for 30 minutes. And actually, just last week, I was experiencing some signs and symptoms for some other things, and I made my tea before I went to bed. And I wasn't sure, but I wanted to do, like we were talking about, some preventative measures. And so I made my tea. I put it in a glass jar, and I put it in the refrigerator after I let it cool off. I left all my herbs in the glass jar. It was a quart jar like this with a lid on it, and I left my herbs in there. And then the next morning I got up and I pushed the herbs back. I drank me a half a glass before I went to work. And sure enough, like throughout the day, I came home for lunch and I drank some more. And within 3 days, I was back to feeling normal again. And what happened is I was in the beginning stages of something happening to me. And that tea, by staying in the refrigerator, I'm not going to tell you what it was, but I was in the beginning stages and something broke loose in me, and it didn't come to what it was trying to happen to me. And but that tea will stay in your refrigerator for whatever, about 2 to 3 days. On that third day, I pour all the herbs out, and that last day I finished it, and didn't have but just 1 dose left. But then I drank tons of water. I'd go through about a gallon of water, and by flushing out your system, and then I had no more of it left in my body. And you can tell usually what's going on in your body. And then that's more of a medicinal type tea, and it did not taste good. I'll just be real honest with you. And I wasn't drinking it for flavor. I wasn't drinking it for it to taste good. I was drinking just the cups that I was using was one that was smaller than this, and it's one that I usually drink just because I have to. But just having the know-how in the recipe to do that with, I did it just before I went to bed. So it took me probably, while I was cleaning up the kitchen, getting ready to go to bed, it took me probably less than 20 minutes. Probably took me about 15 minutes. And then I had to put it in the refrigerator because I had to leave the jar off for it to cool off. And then went and stuck it in the refrigerator. I drank about a quarter of a cup of it before I went to bed, and then drank some water because I thought to myself, this tastes awful. But, sometimes we have to do what we have to do in order to get well. And not all medicines taste great. So that's what I did. But this tea right here, it tastes really good. I wish you could drink it. But I'm going to cut this video off right now. I just wanted to have a little tea time with you, and I wanted you to understand and know there's all kinds of ways that we can make tea. But this tea right here is a pleasurable tea that you can drink every day. It has benefits. It's just like making tea. We've been drinking tea for a long time. We are the tea people. I mean, we drink tea all the time. And we have a long history of drinking tea. This is a herbal tea. And herbal tea isn't very hard at all. It's quite beautiful tea. There's all kinds of ways to make tea, and I'm gonna start making some beautiful blends of tea. This is just a cute little book. We have tea from all over the world. She's got on here, that there's a lot of places that the legend of tea from, there's a lot of places in China, but China's not the only place. I know a lot of places here in America that grow tea, and I buy tea from places here in America. I'll just tell you this real quick to wrap this up. If you know of a country that has wild-crafted tea, wild-crafted is very different from organic tea. Okay, organic tea is certified organic. They do not have any pesticides on them. Wild-crafted is your second best, and they're not certified organic, but if it's from a country that they don't have any kind of, laws, or they don't have to be certified organic, or, you don't know anything about them. I wouldn't buy from them. But there are, through Star West Botanicals, they have certain regulations over certain farms, and they do have, like here in America, I will buy. It may be just a tad bit more expensive. Actually, I found the ones that are certified organic that are here in America are not that expensive. They're very inexpensive, and they want to stay in business. So if it's during the winter, I will go to them and buy the bulk tea. Sometimes there's other places that I'm finding out that are small hometown places here in America. And I will put them in the bottom of my video if I remember where they are. I've heard of bulk herb stores that are right here and that want to sell good bulk herbs to a lot of people who are really getting on fire for this. And grow your own herbs in your own backyard. Sometimes it's seasonal. Sometimes if you grow it and you dry your own herbs, and they'll stay good for a whole year. Some of this peppermint that's in this jar was from last year, and it was in my own backyard, and it's a really strong peppermint. I mean, it's strong, and some of it's powdered up, and some of it is still kind of big leafy, but it's dark green. It's a real dark green, and when I opened the jar, I was like, this stuff is so strong. And when it stays really fresh and you don't keep it in the heat and all that, it stays good. It stays really fresh. And that with the ashwagandha is the root, so I know that's good. And the holy basil, and then the chamomile, all of this, I'll be having this gone soon because I've added to it the holy basil. And so the peppermint's kind of overpowering because this is just running out. The only thing that I had to add to it was the holy basil, but the chamomile's running out, and everything else is running out, so it's going to be gone before long. But anyway, I just wanted to get on here and let you know that there's no mystery behind making some herbal tea. And it's really good that you are putting this in your body, and it's helping you to, put nutrients in your body. There's a lot of green teas that I'll get together. We'll have recipes and stuff like that. But you guys, don't forget to get on here and leave me a comment. Talk to me about some things that you want to make tea with, and just share with me. Talk to me. Let me know. And for now, this is Rexanna with Garden of Herbs TX. And don't forget my website, gardenofherbstx.com. And we will leave some information for you down below. Click on that, and we will see you in the next video. Bye for now. Bye, you guys.